months of work, and she respected the grind. Anyways, back to the training. Vegeta is just going so hard that he's wrecking Dr. Brief's training devices, and one day he takes it too far and has a pretty horrible training accident where he blows up the gravity chamber. They hospitalize Vegeta, and we see him having a nightmare about how Goku and Trunks are so out of reach. They're mocking him with their power, and he feels he can never catch up to them. But then, in his own dream, he gives himself a pep talk and reminds himself of who he is, the Prince of all Saiyans. Then after waking up, we see him, still bandaged up, going right back to his training. He tells Bulma to leave him alone after she tries bossing him around. She really cared about him at this point, but he wasn't going to let anyone get in the way of his training, even though he was getting a little soft on her at the time too. Time goes on, and we see he's training in 400 times Earth's gravity now, doing shadow boxing, calisthenics, even looks like the man's doing gymnastics flips in there, whereas before he didn't have nearly that kind of mobility under a lower gravity at that. And the gravity is set to constantly increase, so he's never fully used to it. We see it go as high as 450, and still we see him say, "No, I can do more." He even goes to space later on a remote planet to have absolutely no distractions in his training. After completely wiping himself out in training one day, he has to defend his ship from a meteor shower and gives everything he has left to destroy massive meteor. Then we see him on the ground, beaten up and battered. He's been training like a maniac for years now, and he's still not a Super Saiyan. And he just almost got killed by a rock. He just doesn't care anymore. He's just done with it all. He's had enough. He's just done, bro. All that non-stop work, and for what? He's not even a Super Saiyan, and these other guys just make it look so easy. He even gives up in his life at this point, because in his mind, what's the point anymore? That's how low he sunk when click, the switch hit, and he finally became a Super Saiyan. And it was such a well-deserved moment too, because he put everything into it for years. For anybody that's ever felt like they were behind in life, this training camp is just so motivating, because it's just complete isolation and dedication to where you want to be. And it's not cheap and quick too, like a lot of other training montages in anime and shows. It's this long and tedious grind that finally pays off. That's what this training is. And stuff like this is why people love Vegeta, man. So the aftermath. When training time was over and androids 19 and 20 came, Goku had a terrible performance against 19 because of his heart disease. Vegeta steps up to the plate, kicks away Goku's carcass, and starts going to work. He was the most powerful character in the show at this point in the series, just like he promised he would be at the start of his training. He absolutely decimates 19, makes him question his AI programmed reality, gives him false hope, then tears off his arms and destroys him with the Big Bang attack. He was just basking in the glory of his achievement. And look, we know it didn't last long, but this is DBZ, don't get it twisted. The title of the best or the strongest isn't just something that people hold on to for long. It switches hands constantly, and that's okay. You don't get to just train like a madman for a season like Vegeta did, and then all of a sudden you just can't be beat. No, there's always more you can do, and there's always new plateaus to go beyond. Vegeta learns that pretty soon himself the hard way.